It's February 2nd, 2025.
Groundhog's Day.
Groundhog's Day. Groundhog's Day. Did you know that?
Groundhog's Day, yeah.
Yeah.
She sees his shadow, it'll be a long winter.
Okay.
And he saw a shadow.
Huh?
It saw its shadow.
He did?
Yeah.
So it'll be a long winter.
6 more weeks.
6 more weeks. It's February 2nd, 2025, and it's my pleasure and honor to speaking with World War II hero, Mr. John J. Jeckovich. Well, how are you feeling today, Mr. Jeckovich?
Very good, very good.
You're looking well.
Yeah.
I like your new pants and sweatshirt. You got a haircut, boots.
I had a haircut a couple of days ago.
Yeah, still look short. You're doing fine. You're doing fine. So, how are you feeling today? Good?
Huh?
How are you feeling today? Good?
Good, good.
All right. We're reading Mr. Jeckovich's book, Their Mother's Sons. How many pages is that?
849.
Ah, it's a monster book. We're almost at the end. We're on like 814 or 815, opening and closing Duplex Giant Wash.
Duplex Giant Wash,
Yeah, that book must have took you years to write.
yeah.
I mean-
6 months.
Did Delphine help you write it?
No.
When you wrote the book, there was no such thing as Google. You had to look up everything in either the Encyclopedia Britannica or a dictionary.
Dictionary.
So that was it. That's what you had to work with.
It's a Thoracis.
Yeah, that's what you had to work with, right?
Yeah.
Wow. Did you handwrite it first on yellow tablets?
Huh?
Did you handwrite it first on
I
yellow?
scribbled it first, then handwrote it next time, and then somebody typed it.
Wow, that was a lot of work. Well, I hope you give me a couple chapters of your new book, because I'm running out of pages here. Mr. Jeckovich was in World War II as a teenager. He was in Company H, the 2nd Battalion of the 291st Regiment of the 75th Infantry Division of the U.S. Army during World War II. Mr. Jeckovich's division was affectionately referred to as a Diaper Division. How come?
They're all 19 years old. 33s, They're all 33s.
33 is the code the Army uses for teenagers. An interesting fact there, all the combat soldiers were teenagers. They have much more endurance and stamina than, let's just say, a man in his mid-20s. Big difference. You wouldn't think so, but there's tremendous difference. But they were affectionately called the Diaper Division because of their age. However, they proved themselves in fighting many battles, in fighting Battle of Bulge, which was the grand finale of the European theater, liberating the Holocaust camps and the World War II camps. And now the change from being referred to affectionately as a Diaper Division, Mr. Jeckovich and his fellow combat soldiers now were referred to as the Bulge Busters or the Bastards of Bastogne. The Bastards of Bastogne or the Bulge Busters because they proved themselves during the war, many casualties and many serious injuries. During World War II, there were 16,400,000 young men and women who participated in World War II. Well over 16,300,000 during up to 2025 were all gone. All gone, either killed during the war or died of natural causes or died of cancer because the Red Cross was passing out packs of cigarettes like they were candy bars, right?
Yeah.
This came in today.
Okay, 1 second. They're passing out packs of cigarettes like they're candy bars.
Yeah.
So let me just finish this one part and I'll read this. And then Mr. Jeckovich, because it was such an abundant thing, the packs of cigarettes, did you take up the habit of smoking?
No, never smoked. Never smoked, never drank.
Mr. Jeckovich is knocking on the door of 100. He's knocking on the door of 100. Never smoked, never drank, jogged for 80 years, never took a prescription, and never took a vitamin. Mr. Jeckovich also he has a very long life, but he also had a very long marriage. How long was your marriage?
69 years.
69 years. So Mr. Jeckovich's mind is like a library, done many things, owned many different businesses. So
Sorry.
we're reading this book to the public to maybe make someone's life a little bit easier out there. I always and that's it. So if you have any questions for Mr. Jeckovich, he'll be glad to call you, or you can call him or send a text. He'll answer them. And the number is 407-366-0000. 407-366-0000. So Mr. Jeckovich will be glad to help. I have many text messages. I'm going to eliminate like half of them right now. We'll do the other half tomorrow. But Mr. Jeckovich, where could they buy your book?
Can buy it.
The book is not for sale. Never will be for sale. It's just a public service so people can understand how simple life was then, and maybe make your life a little bit easier. Little things that Mr. Jeckovich picked up on the way of his 100 years of living. If he could help you, be glad too. Apparently his marriage was successful, 69 years. Apparently his health regimen was successful. He's knocking on the door of 100. And plus he had a lot of businesses in between. So the book's not for sale. However, there is an original copy in the World War II museum in New Orleans, Louisiana. And secondly, we are doing an AI booth for Mr. Jeckovich in a World War II museum. So once it's completed, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, or 20 years from now, unless a hurricane takes the whole city, you'll see Mr. Jeckovich sitting like he is now, answering your questions, I should say, under AI. So we have a couple more text messages, but I got one right here. Let me read what this is. The Williams family from Sydney, Australia, watches your videos every day. Thank you, Mr. Jeckovich. So
They sent him this lambskin jacket.
What
John.
is it?
It's a lambskin. It's real
Give it to
Look
lambskin.
at that. Look at
From
that.
Lambskin.
Australia, it's like a bomber jacket, John.
That's beautiful.
Yeah,
That's the real
look,
deal.
Smell that. It's real leather.
Smells real leather.
Feel
It's
it.
real good.
Yeah, where's this from?
This is from
The
Australia.
Williams family, Sydney, Australia.
Boy.
Isn't that nice?
So you have Mr. Jeckovich.
Those buttons on there.
Yeah,
Mr.
lambskin.
Jeckovich appreciates all the gifts. He's got a whole room, like a bedroom, 10 by 12, filled with
Look at
nothing
that lining.
but
Isn't
gifts.
that
He
nice?
sure
It's got
does
a nice
appreciate
deep
them.
pocket in there.
And he's well deserved. He does appreciate it. This man appreciates it.
Thank you, no.
I will.
Yeah, we'll write him a
Isn't
nice
that
thing.
That's beautiful.
That's first class right there. That's
Hang it
beautiful.
in the
I'm gonna go
closet,
hang
yeah.
it up right now.
Hang it up in his room with all the other clothes. So, almost about every other day you get something nice from somebody.
Yeah.
All right, 20
So thank you, the Williams family. I also loved that young person standing in front of the Eiffel Tower. It sent us a 15-minute video, and the 15-minute video was thanking Mr. Jeckovich. This is about 3-4 months ago. Thanking Mr. Jeckovich for him and his squad during World War II liberating Paris. It was a very touching video, and you can still watch it. Just go through our 410 podcast, and you'll see a young man standing in front of the Eiffel Tower telling Mr. Jeckovich, thank you for liberating Paris, and if it wasn't combat soldiers like you, Mr. Jeckovich, we might we have a whole different situation here, and we might be speaking German. So that was a great video. Plus there's many more people sent in. Another question that came in, no, this is like 6 or 7 questions on the same subject. Where is your great-granddaughter Amber that everyone's looking for? Where's your granddaughter Amber?
Where is she?
you want to know where she is? I have people asking all the time. They miss her on the screen. Where's your great-granddaughter Amber?
Where's she at?
Yeah.
She's in Marguerite's.
Uh-huh. Amber is a wonderful girl that lives...
She's catching the waves.
Yeah, cats. I like that. Amber's a beautiful young girl in her 20s. She's a full-time missionary and an avid surfer. And she lives actually on the ocean in Florida, but she's never home. She's traveling the world.
She's
And yeah. And on her days off, she spends time with Mr. Jeckovich. Don't you love seeing her?
Yeah.
Yeah. Mr. Jeckovich's great-granddaughter, everyone's always asking. I think they're mostly males. I think they're mostly guys who want to know where she is. She's in Martinique for a couple weeks.
Yeah.
She came back from Malibu before the fires for 3 months surfing. She surfed in Puerto Rico, Australia. In fact, she's going back to Australia after Martinique for 2 months because it's their winter. But the ironic thing, she lives really high on the ocean. She opens up her door, she's in the sand. She can surf any minute of any day. But they chase the waves.
Yeah.
I looked at her passport one time, and I really can't remember, but just about every page every page was stamped. Every page was stamped. But she got out of Malibu just in the nick of time when she left. It was like a week after that the fires came. But she was there for 3 months. And I can't remember of all the places she surfed.
She's been all over.
All over the world. But if there's a wave, she chases it. But I would say, hey, roll out of bed and surf in the Atlantic Ocean. But I guess when you're a seasoned surfer like that, you want to chase the biggest wave.
Yeah.
She always told you she would teach you surfing, didn't she?
Yeah, what?
She would help you to surf if you wanted to surf.
Oh,
Didn't Amber say that the other day?
Yeah.
She wants you to get you in a barrel. You'd probably do pretty
Go
good.
to the falls.
No, that's a term they use in surfing. So she's a fine young lady, and hope to see her soon before she shoves off for Australia. Maybe she'll stop in for a few days, but it's so nice that she does, and she always brightens up the place. So all you guys that keep on texting for her, she's gone for a long time. So you can text her to say hi, but I don't know. There won't probably be no more to it than that. She's very busy. Bible in one hand, surfboard in the other. And if she's not traveling, she's sitting here with her great-grandfather, Mr. John J. Jeckovich, doing wonderful things, creating art, puzzles, reading, everything under the sun. A very kind person. A very kind person. One of the other texts that came in, Mr. Jeckovich, were you ever thinking of making the military a career?
No.
Why?
Well, I have too many responsibilities at home.
So that brings us back to the book. Their mother's sons. Mr. Jeckovich's father died when he was 11 years old. His father was Marion Jeckovich. He came legally from Russia through Ellis Island and worked 3 jobs to try to create a better life. For his son, or sons, I should say, and daughter. And he basically worked himself to death, and at the age of 43, laying cement, dropped dead right then and there. But he was doing his best to make a better life for his children. He truly was. And another question that came in, were you drafted or did you enlist?
I was drafted.
Why did you wait to get
Because
drafted?
I was sticking around helping my mother.
Okay.
I
So-
didn't use that as a draft excuse. I didn't
understand.
say that, no.
So
I
that
just hung on as long as I could.
So that gets back to the book, Their Mother's Sons. Mr. Jeckovich could have enlisted and he got a better position in the service. Instead, he waited till he got drafted so he could spend more time caring for his mother. But what happens when you get drafted? Almost all the time you're sent to the front line.
Yeah.
If he enlisted?
Yeah.
He could have had a better choice. Your brother enlisted, what was he doing?
Coast
Driving
Guard.
driving jeeps? No, your other brother.
Oh,
Driving
teaching GIs how to drive a Jeep.
And that's the United States.
Yeah, that's in the United States.
So that might be the difference. If you enlist, you could stay in someplace in the United States, teach people how to drive a Jeep, get off at 5 o'clock, go to the regular restaurants, go home. But if you get drafted, front line, all the grunt work, right?
Yeah, that's it.
You have a lot better. But Mr. Jeckovich sacrificed all that, so he spent a little bit more time with his mother. Another question was, where were you on December 7th, 1941?
I was skating on a creek in Deal Creek on the Orange Avenue, and they said the Japanese bombed Pearl Harbor.
14 minutes.
And what did your mother say?
She said, "I'm afraid you're going to be going."
She's afraid you might be in trouble.
Yeah,
And you did go. How soon after that did you go?
6 months.
Wow. So you had a little bit more time to care for your mother.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow, that is really interesting. Wow. And the next question that came in, when you were drafted, where did you go for basic training?
Went to Camp Breckenridge, Kentucky.
Now the puzzle's coming together. That's where you had a long relationship with Annie Mahoney.
Annie Mahoney, yeah.
She lived in Owensboro, Kentucky.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I
So you
spent
didn't
all my
waste it.
weekends with her all the time.
What?
I spent all my weekend.
Wow. So you didn't let the grass grow under your feet. You're on the go. Even though you're in basic training, you still had a beautiful girlfriend. And you told her you'd come back, but she didn't think it would be 85 years later.
Yeah.
Mr. Jeckovich, 85 years later, called her up on the phone, and what did you discover?
Well, she's 90 years old. She's feeble, yeah.
Yeah.
So I took her pictures out, put my mother's picture up on the wall.
So here we go, getting back to the book, Their Mother's Sons. Mr. Jeckovich told Anne Mahaney that he was going to come back to Owensboro back in 1942 or 43. He never made it. He was a little bit late. He was 85 years late, or 86 years late,
For what?
to talk to Anne Mahaney again. You were late, 86 years. And so you finally got her on the phone. She answered the phone, right?
Yeah.
And how did she sound?
Feeble. She's 89 years old.
So Mr. Jeckovich went into his office where he had her picture from 1941, an 8.5 by 11, above his desk. He took it down. What'd you do with it?
I put it in a drawer, wrapped it up in a the towel, put it in a drawer, and put my mother's picture up.
When Mr. Jeckovich removes Anne's picture, his girlfriend from World War II, the wall was all yellow because the picture sat there for so long. And then, getting back to the book again, he put his mother's pictures up there, their mother's sons.
Yeah.
That is so
They
interesting.
were right around.
And where else did you go to basic training at?
Breckenridge, we went to, we spent 6 months in the States, then we went to England, with the Wales, England.
All right, let's get to the phase 2. You went to Haverford West.
Yeah.
And who was in Haverford West?
Another friend,
And what was her name?
Renee.
No, Renee was Paris. Who was in Haverford West?
What?
Haverford West.
Young.
Huh?
Young.
First name?
I can't remember her name.
Jean.
No, it wasn't Jean, no. No, I can't recollect it.
Her last name was Young, and her father was the mayor of Haverford West.
Or he was in charge of the Port Authority.
Would you Google that, please? About the
Yeah.
paper.
Well, we could never locate her. We could never.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting to.
That's why I'm not familiar. We never located her.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting to. You are very close when you're in basic training in Europe, and Jean Young was in Haverford West, and her father was like a mayor. And you're a very close relationship, and you told her you would see her after the war, but that never came. That never came. The first name is Jean, and the
Jean Roland Young.
what? Gene Roland Young.
Yeah, Gene Roland Young.
And so a newspaper with a circulation in excess of
Manchester Guardian.
a newspaper with a circulation of in excess of 1 million per day coming out of London wrote a full page. Well, we had investigators in London and Haverfordwest looking to talk to Gene Young, and we spent a lot of time and resources on that. And then we had our buddies at the newspaper write a full-page story in the Daily Mail. And they wrote a full-page story for us, and hoping with a daily subscription of 1 million readers that they would come up with Gene Roland Young. It still
Nobody came
went
up.
to a dead end.
Nobody came up.
We went to a dead end, and a lot of time and resources were spent on that. So anyone listening, which I know we have a lot of listeners in Wales and London and Paris, if you know a Gene Roland Young, which your father was a mayor in the early 40s in Haverfordwest, we'd like to hear. We'd like to hear.
Yeah, that family probably all gone.
Yeah, but there's got to be some type of trail. And then finally, this is the guy during World War II, really a horrific war. And he's got 3 girlfriends, unbelievable. And the third girlfriend, her name was?
Renee.
Renee was a beautiful girl. She was in the convent, a Roman Catholic, and she got notified that while the Nazis occupied Paris for 4 long, miserable years, the Nazis...
Oh, she's going to be a nun.
Yeah, the Nazis tortured her parents, and I imagine her parents were like late 30s, early 40s. Notice came to the convent that her parents are dead at the hands of the Nazis torturing her. A month or 2 go by, then she gets another notice at the convent that her 2 teenage brothers, I imagine are 13 to 16, they were tortured and killed by the Nazis. So at this time here, Renee questioned her faith, and that's not unusual. The Pope even questions his faith, and she left the convent to go back to Paris. And then tell us what happened.
Well, she went to the resistance.
She went into the French resistance. Tell us how she gathered her information.
Well, she was a good portrait painter on faces, and the German elites loves that because they get their face painted naturally. It wasn't photographed. She was a good painter, and she would face their faces, and as they're talking among them about how great they are, what they're doing here, and they were getting out a lot of information, and she was relaying it back to the Allies.
So Renee left the convent, and she has an unbelievable talent for doing portraits. And while the Nazis were still occupying Paris before Mr. Jeckovich and many combat soldiers booted their ass out, the SS and top echelon Nazi officers would go to her little studio, which is also her apartment, and have their portraits painted. And at that time, Renee was gathering information and listening very closely what they're saying and passing it over to her friends, which she just joined in the French resistance. And when you first went to Renee's apartment, were you surprised to see all the Nazi soldiers on the wall?
Oh, yeah.
What did you think?
Well, that was portraits she painted, and that was part of the retweet. You should get the people, the Germans, to talk.
Right.
And they open up their mouths and start talking. They're bragging about what she's doing, how they're helping Hitler and everything else.
So what was your first thought when you went in there, the apartment, to see all the
I
Nazis?
thought she was a sympathizer for the Germans.
So you thought your lights might have been put out when you went in there.
Yeah.
But it turned out quite the opposite. So a beautiful lady like Renee already left the convent, French resistance, questions her faith like everyone seems to do. What finally happened to Renee?
The Germans took her out in the woods, shot her.
Right. So 3 of Mr. Jeckovich's girlfriends, 2 of them are accounted for, and 1 still isn't. We'll keep looking because we need to, find out what happened to Gene Roland Young, which we will. So that was a very interesting story, and I'm gonna start to read your book as we're getting,
Oh.
God bless you. I'm gonna start to read your book as we're getting close to the end. And I need to find some other material to read. So let me see where the hell I'm at here. Let's see. Well, I'll open up the laptop to get your pages to come up. But what's your dog tag number?
42965.
Okay, the laptop is opening up. So we got you on page 412, excuse me, 812. 812.
8 or 8?
812.
Yeah.
You're getting close to the end. Do you want to read a few pages?
No, go ahead.
Okay, interject when I'm reading any sentence or paragraph that you want to add something, okay?
Okay.
Okay, we had many conversations regarding the store's many functions and obligations and never deterred from our initial thoughts of why we wanted to do something of this nature. We were very thankful for the opportunity and considered ourselves fortunate that it had worked out so well, and stated before we had sustained the store's financial obligations solely through what we realized from its productivity, and not 1 cent came from our own personal,
You talking about the laundromat?
yeah, personal resources. Well, that's a good point. Once you open up the laundromat, which the doors never closed, never locked for 18 years, you didn't have to dig into your savings anymore.
No.
All your bills,
Everything
all
come
your
from-
notes.
Everything came from duplex.
That's hard to do. That's quite a achievement. That's pretty good. It was a great achievement for both of us as we attained great satisfaction from its performance. Minutes, please.
Two and 40 seconds.
Huh?
2 minutes and 40 seconds.
Oh, wow. Wow. Wow, you had a lot of good texts that came in today. Wow.
Donald Trump?
Yeah, we still have a little bit more time. I want to take the whole studio time. We have a couple more minutes. I'd like to keep it at 30.
What time you got?
I'd like to take it at 30-minute
It's early,
intervals. Yeah, because we have over 450 podcasts.
Yeah.
And so if someone wants to hear about the fine gentleman in the Eiffel Tower, they can refer to it. They can see him live. It's a great story.
Jean-Marc, I think is.
And another side note about the Eiffel Tower, when the Nazis occupied Paris for 4 long years, Hitler wanted to go to the top. And the workers at the Eiffel Tower made up a story. What'd they say?
They turned the power off.
Yeah, they turned the power off.
They had to walk up.
So that's right. They turned.
But he was there right after they.
He's the one that ran him out.
Yeah.
They turned the power off, so the elevator didn't work, and Hitler had to walk to the top.
Yeah.
That's
Minutes?
funny. Minute and 30.
An interesting fact, France had much bigger and well-equipped army than the Nazis, but within 36 days, the Nazis wiped out the military in France.
Yeah.
And if it wasn't for people like Mr. Jeckovich and the United States Army to run those Nazis out, there's no telling how it would have turned out. There's no telling. Would you ever think of moving to Paris?
What?
Did you ever consider moving
No.
to Paris?
In Paris? No,
Yeah.
no.
Would you ever consider moving to Haverford West?
No. Well, that would be the most likely spot if I wanted it, but I wouldn't. No.
Minutes?
45 seconds.
You would consider moving to Haverford West.
Yeah.
How about Berlin?
No.
Owensboro, Kentucky?
Well, I was there every weekend. Yeah.
Yeah.
30 seconds.
Well,
On weekend passes. Yeah.
yeah, you got around.
3 girlfriends.
We got another, yeah, you got another one in the books.
Okay.
We got another one in the books. What do you want to do?
You get put on Trump. Let's see what's going on.
All right. Time?
Okay. 10 seconds, and we can make this a wrap.
Walk it down.
Okay.
Walk it
We'll
down.
pick it
to
up
10.
tomorrow.
Walk it down to 10.
Okay.
0.
4, 3, 2.
All right, here we go. Let's put it on.